Hoppy Christmas! I'm Nick from Hopford. I'm in my festive attire, and as you can see, I am here for the beer, and I'm also here to wish all of our listeners, people that I work with, and my friends in the brewing industry a very happy Christmas. 2020 has been a tough year. I've had the opportunity to work with some great people on some great projects and journey with other people throughout the beer industry, both here and abroad. And I've seen the effects throughout the entire supply chain, from grain to glass, and how tough it has been on businesses. But one of the other things that I've seen is the resilience and the hardiness of the folk in the craft beer industry. And I know together we'll come through this. 2021 is not going to be perfect. I'm sure there'll be lots of problems, Brexit probably being one of them. But we'll sharing our resources, our time, our energy, our encouragement. We'll come through this together. And like you, I'm sure you're all dying for a nice pint of cask beer. So much so I've set up a pin in my cellar. But I'm looking forward to a proper pint down the pub with real people. I just want to give a few shout outs to people. Now, these aren't clients that I work with, these are just people that have I've particularly enjoyed their beers, or have been a help in some way or other. So I'm just going to give a very quick shout out to, first up, Pete Brown. So Pete Brown's a smashing bloke, beer writer, as I'm sure you're all aware, but he's written this book called Beer by Design, and I want to say a huge thanks to Pete, firstly for writing this. As a brewer and a designer, this is right up my street. The information in this is second to none. Pete really knows his stuff about brands. So I mean, I'm learning a lot, and branding is my business, so I'm learning loads for this. But I am especially thankful because look at that, he featured a design of mine from Lincoln Green Brewery, who are a great brewery that I work with. So huge thanks to Camera for sending this, and to Pete for including that in the book. A few beers I want to highlight. First up, my beer of the year, which is New World Tripel from Triple Point in Sheffield. This is absolutely spot on. If you can get hold of this, get hold of it. It's amazing. I believe they cultivated yeast from something like 8 bottles of Trappist beer, bottle conditioned beer, and then they grew it and then pitched it into this, and it's wonderful. Really, really divine. Big shout out to my friend Sean Robertson, who sent me some gwei beers. So I've had the pleasure of getting to know Sean over the last year, and it's been fantastic to watch his journey now as the UK commercial director for gwei, which are a Hong Kong based brewery that are now partnering in the UK with Vocation and doing collaborations, in this case with Fierce Beer on this beer. So for Fig Steak is very nice, very Christmassy, as you'd expect. And then possibly my favourite brewery in the world ever, St Mars of the Desert, based in Sheffield. Dan and Martha are lovely people. They have the cutest dog in the world, and they make the best beers ever, in my opinion. So if you can get hold of some St Mars of the Desert, make sure you do. Finally, just want to say a huge, massive thanks to Lewis Ryan, aka Louis, for redesigning the logo of Emmanuel's. Look at that. It's been a long time coming, getting this brewery back on its feet, albeit one barrel, but finally done it. So huge thanks to Louis for redesigning the logo, and I want to say massive thanks to SSV Limited. So the reason I'm tying those two things in together is because when lockdown happened, loads of people pulled their marketing budgets, and the Hot Forward podcast, as you know, which is sponsored by some great companies and suppliers, everyone pulled their budgets, all except SSV Limited and TEP. They carried on sponsoring the show, and then supplying me, obviously I paid for it with the help of a bounce back loan, but some great SS Brewtech gear. So I was managed to get, they were very accommodating with helping me get this into my Vauxhall Astra. So getting a unitank, and just supported me in that. So huge thanks to SSV Limited as well. Great company, making great, supplying great brewery parts and whole brew houses. So check them out. So I'm taking some time off. So from this Friday, I'll be taking 2 weeks off over the Christmas period. If you work with me, then you'll know the score, but I'm just giving everyone else a heads up in case they want to contact me. I'll probably be off of communications, so I'm kind of downloading it now onto you through this video. With the podcast, we're quickly reaching episode 100. Episode 100 is going to be great because I asked James Watt from Brewdog onto the show, and he ghosted me. Well, not him, his PA. So it's going to be called Brewdog or the Wife, and as you'll find out, unless I hear back from Brewdog between now and then, which is 3 weeks' time, it's probably going to be the wife. So me and my wife Claire are going to talk about our beer journey and drink some beers together. It'll be different, but we're going to celebrate episode 100. And then who knows, maybe James, if you're watching, you'll come on the Hot Four podcast in the future. Let's hope so. I'd love to have you on the show. In 2021, we're going to take a bit of a break with the show. So I've got a lot of work on, which is fantastic. I'm starting to work with some great beer businesses of all shapes and sizes. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break from the Hot Four podcast to concentrate on some great projects I've got on, but also to just re-grease the wheels for the show and rethink about the format and how I can keep it fresh and attract a wider audience across the world, looking at some other markets in the world as well. So it's not going away, don't panic. The Hot Four podcast will be back in spring, and hopefully it will be bigger and better than ever. So all there is left is to say is Hoppy Christmas. I hope you have a great new year and every success for getting ahead in the brewing and beer business in 2021. Cheers.